Hi, second graders. I bet that you are just as excited as I am for science today because we are this much closer to creating our animal habitats. Let's go over some of the information that we've been talking about over the past few weeks, and then we will get started with today's activity and the next step towards making our animal habitats. So I looked at everybody's research from last week, and I am confident that you guys know what a habitat is. But just in case you forgot, it's helpful to go over that a habitat is the natural home or environment of an animal, plant, or other organism. And it's also really important to remember that inside of an animal's habitat where they decide to live, they have everything that they need to thrive and survive. There are desert habitats, grassland habitats, mountains, and forest habitats, which are interchangeable. They might be the same place sometimes. Pond and river habitats, the Arctic and the rainforest, and ocean habitats. And I even noticed that some of you found that your animal lives in a totally different habitat than the ones that I gave you. That's okay. You're the one that did the research. You are the master scientist and you know your animal best. Now that you did that research and you know all about your animal, it's time to put it down into a plan. And we are very good at plans. We practiced them a lot last year in first grade engineering, and we even practiced making plans a few weeks ago when we did an engineering activity. So you all know exactly what Miss Millerick expects in a plan, but we will go over some examples anyways. So here is a plan from a few years ago. It was called Dino Island or Dino Land, and it was a dinosaur's habitat. And the students that put this together did a fantastic job of planning out what the habitat was going to look like, what the habitat was going to have in it, lots of trees for them to eat, some source of water where they would find fish and drink. You can see that everything that the animal needs in its habitat is labeled as well. Another one I want to show you is this one. It's called Penguins in Antarctica. And I already showed you this actual habitat after it was built in last week's video lesson. But you'll see this is the plan before those students created that physical habitat, right? They have the penguins playing in the snow. There are some rocks, there's some ice, and there's a body of water with fish for them to eat. And they even labeled the air up here for them to breathe. I showed you this habitat already. Willie the whale lives in the ocean. You could see that these students did a really nice job of making sure that Willie the whale had everything he needed in his ocean habitat. There is seaweed, seashells, shelter over here for the whale, water. Again, everything is labeled. And the last one I want to show you is this farm habitat. This one has tons of color, tons of labels. When this habitat was done being created, it looked just like this. It was fantastic. You could see everything that this horse needs in its habitat to survive. So that's your job today, to take all the information that you researched last week and put it down on paper in an organized format. So you are going to draw exactly what you want your habitat to look like. And you really want to make sure that you have all of your animals' needs, right? If you have a forest habitat, there's going to be a lot of trees. If you have an Arctic habitat, then there's going to be a lot of snow. There's going to be a lot of big bodies of water. You are the master, you're the expert, you know what your animal needs. If you want, you can flip through your packet that I gave you a few weeks back. And inside of your packet, there should be a blank piece of paper for you to draw your habitat plan on. If you can't find this blank piece of paper, that's okay. You can use any paper that you have at your house, or you can even just do this directly inside of your science journal. I would love it if you could take a picture of your work when you're done. And feel free to research your animal even further if you need to find out some more information. After this video is over, it will roll into a Discovery Channel video about animal habitats. You are welcome to watch it. It's really interesting and it might give you some ideas about details. Or you can just get started on your plan. Either way, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I hope that you enjoy planning, and I can't wait to see your pictures. Bye, second graders.
Our planet, a world of shifting landscapes, each with different challenges for the creatures who make it their home. Diving deep under the water's surface, we can see how one animal has evolved for the underwater world it inhabits. The octopus. With its 8 arms, it propels itself along the seabed, sometimes swimming, climbing over rocks, feeling its way. The suckers covering its body are taste receptors. Imagine your body covered in hundreds of tongues. What would you taste as you moved along the ocean floor? The octopus is a master of disguise. Being spineless, without a single bone in its body, means it can do this. Squeeze into a tight spot and disappear when necessary. Like the octopus in the ocean, animals and plants all over the world have special ways of surviving in the place where they live. Their habitat. Whether it's woodland, water, deserts, or mountains. A habitat holds everything a creature needs to live and grow. Food, shelter, air, and water. Plants provide shelter and food for herbivores, who in turn are prey for predators. In one way or another, they all depend on each other. And they all have evolved and adapted to the place that they call home. Like these 3 bears. They're distantly related, but they live in very different places. From the far frozen north, to lush woodlands, and the sweltering heat of a bamboo forest. In the past, these bears have shared a common ancestor. But now they have all changed and adapted to their local habitat. How are they different? What has changed? What kind of environment have they adapted to? Polar bears have thick white coats, keeping them warm and making them less visible in the icy Arctic. There are very few hiding places here. These bears have the most sensitive noses of any mammal. They can smell a seal several kilometers away. They can swim for days on end in freezing water. Their fur repels water, and their forepaws are round and webbed. Great for swimming and walking on soft snow. Giant pandas spend their days searching for and eating bamboo. Only bamboo. They must eat all day and sometimes part of the night. Pandas have larger heads than other bears, with strong jaw muscles for chewing tough bamboo. They also have another unique feature. Because they spend all day stripping the leaves from branches, they have an extra thumb. Brown bears live in woodlands, where their food supply changes with the season. In the summer, there is plenty to eat. A good time to bring up cubs. There's fish to catch, berries to munch on. In the autumn, brown bears eat as much as they can, getting ready for winter, when food is hard to find and it's time to enter the den. Brown bears snooze their way through much of winter, using very little energy. 3 different bears from 3 different habitats. Can you think of some other habitats? Can you think of the animals and plants that might live there?